afternoon, and good evening to everyone who are watching us live today. Welcome to Crystal Clear Show. I'm your host, Crystal, and it's my passion to help female professionals 30 and over to get unstuck from their corporate 9 to 5 jobs and to launch and grow their successful six-figure business. Today with us is Jo Anna Wright, who is a recognized expert creating more than 5 million in real estate transactions for her students and changing the lives of hundreds nationwide with her step-by-step bottom line wealth focus programs. She has over 20 years of experience as a licensed real estate professional, investor, and entrepreneur strategist, teaching entrepreneurs how to build wealth and keep more of the money that they make with tax strategies and real estate assets. Her passion is teaching women how to build wealth with easy, approachable, customized strategies, mentored by Sharon Lecter, she, the co-founder of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad curriculum, multiple seven-figure real estate investing instructors, along with getting her mindset clear with Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Les Brown, and many other leaders within the industry. So today, our topic for our week 3 is the principle of a highly successful six-figure business model. So let's welcome Jo Anna Wright. Welcome, Joanna. Thank you for saying yes to be in the Crystal Clear Show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Crystal. I appreciate it.
Well, for my my guest, I always ask the first question. If you were a superhero, who would you be and why?
I love that question. That's awesome. So, as far as superheroes go, I would say Rogue. You guys all know who Rogue is. She has the strip of
Yes.
white hair, and when she touches people, she takes their power temporarily. Um, and I just think it's super powerful to be able to pretty much do whatever you want if you can just touch something and know exactly what it is that you can accomplish. Like she used Thor, right? Like she took Thor's power to defeat, the evil. And if you can just grab that and throughout your world, your personal world that you're in here today, have that superpower to be able to, get your business up and running, to be that VA for a minute, get that temporary, ability to do landing pages, right? Or whatever it may be. But I just think she's super powerful and able to use so many other powers. So why choose? Just have them all.
True. Why choose? Why not? Why not have them all? I love that. But I really like Rogue as well. I used to watch her the X-Men. She's from the X-Men, right?
Yep.
And now actually one of my sisters, I have two sisters, and she has a streak of white hair in front. So sometimes we call her, "Oh, you're Rogue," because of the streak of her white hair. But she says, "No, but I don't take somebody else's powers." Well, it's
She
but
just
it's
borrowed it for useful things. She didn't take,
yeah,
she borrowed.
that's a better word to put it.
There
So
you go.
actually, so I have seen in your post that you have two quotes, and I really like them. That's why I took them, and I would like us or you probably to elaborate how you feel about these quotes and why you posted them. So Jim Carrey in your one of your posts, Jim Carrey says life doesn't happen to you; it happens for you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so I would like to ask your biggest why and how does that quote relate to you?
So Jim Carrey and I have a similar background of poverty.
Mm,
uh, and life happened for him because basically it stuck a fire under his rear, you know, and he had great parents, even though he was in poverty living in his car. Um, he said he was going to be amazing. He said he was going to do certain things and they came true. Um, so I always think back to Jim Carrey saying, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. I was broken, and just had no mindset to even think I can get out of the danger I was in a bad relationship, and being stripped of everything, no money, no cell phone, no car, no nothing,
mhm,
and not knowing how I'm going to crawl out of this hole.
mm,
So um but and you don't know it at the time, right? You
yes.
just don't know at the time, but I look back now and it happened for me because now I get to help others in that situation, to avoid that situation, and to be financially independent so that you could be with the person that you love independently, financially, right? You stay with
Right.
someone because you love them, not because you're financially dependent on them.
Yes.
So that's a huge, big why for me is poverty, basically. And that brings it right to my son, right? I
Right.
don't want him to live in poverty.
Yes.
So, like, I don't want anyone to live in poverty. There's no reason for it when there's all these things that we get to do with our lives. We have choices to make. And we were just speaking a little bit before, like, we all have baggage that happens in our lives, right? I mean, I got a 72-foot truck full of baggage that I could take with me to every phone call, every relationship, but I don't. I keep
Right.
it as history, and I'm present and growing in today's world for my future and my family's future. So being strong for that, I mean, that's what I got from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
That was one of my exercises, was to read chapter 9, just chapter 9, which is persistence, 30 days in a row. Like, each day, just read that one chapter, right? And if you miss a day, you got to start from the beginning again.
What? So,
Yeah,
okay. So you shouldn't miss the 30 days then.
should not miss the 30 days, right? You got to go back to the start, right? And then do a
Right.
solid 30 days. So that was what one of my mentors challenged me to do.
Mhm.
And that really changed my mindset into, I'm not being persistent enough to get to my goals just by reading that. And I had to start over several times.
Oh, okay. How
Um,
long did it take you?
uh, it took me it took me about 4 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I persistently, I said, I could do this. I could do this. Life gets
Yes,
in the way,
it's
right?
true.
For everybody. The phone
Right.
rings, you're in the middle of something, the kids, the
Yeah.
whatever, the tree fell in the yard or on the neighbor's yard. That's one thing that happened. When you're in the middle of something, life always gets in the way. And I think it's a true testament of, what do you do when it does? Right?
Yes.
So that
Right.
persistence was, I see you, I hear you, you're in my way, but I'm going to go either through you or around you because I have goals that matter, and I'm going to persistently move them forward. So that
That
was what I learned from doing that.
sounds powerful. I go through you or around you, but still keep going forward is what
Yeah,
matters. That's what
yes. I mean,
persistence
we
means.
all have obstacles, right?
Yes.
So you either
Yes.
let them stop you,
Yes.
or your why is big enough to go through them or around them, however you need to do it.
That's that's really awesome because most of the time when we feel like we failed, then we some of us, for me, I know I have in the past. I stopped. Well, I failed. I'm not. I'm afraid to move forward. Maybe it's a sign that it's not for me. For example, maybe God is saying no to me. Maybe God doesn't want me to be rich or stuff like that because money is the root of all evil anyway. So, but actually, it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. So, if you have good intentions for your money, persistence, just going forward or go around your goal, go around that
Obstacle, yeah.
obstacle to go forward to your goal. It's it's a really it's a good advice, and I just love that.
And how I feel when things get in my way, and you question yourself,
Yes,
should I be doing this because something keeps happening? It's
right.
stopping me, right?
Yes,
I mean, I
right.
think we've all had that story. Something keeps stopping me. Maybe I
Yeah,
shouldn't. You just said it yourself, right?
right, right.
Um, so my interpretation of that is God is testing you. Do you really want
Mhm.
this?
Oh, it's not saying it's not for you, but do you really want this?
Do you really want it? Because when life gets hard, are you still going to do it?
Oh, that's a different view to see it because I know in the past, like I said, maybe it's not for me, but I didn't look at it the way like, do you? God wants me to test. God wants to test me. Do you really want this? Do you really want this goal? Do you want financial freedom? And and what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So as life happened for me,
right.
I actually just put blinders on. I had to
Mhm.
not think about anything else but what I wanted today and for my future.
Right.
And that persistence of so many things got in my way. So many
Mhm.
things got in my way. And I
Yes.
said, no, I know this is the answer. I know this is the answer. If you know deep in your heart that this is the answer, don't let anything stop you because you will be tested. You will be
Yeah.
tested. I had a lot of things get in my way, and I was like a snowplow truck just plowing through everything
Right.
to get to
Right.
my goals.
Yes. Oh, that is really good advice. So if you know that it's what you really want, just go move forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And usually
Okay.
it's something within our genius zone, right? Like
Right.
we know this is right and true, and you're solid in what you can do and in
Mm-hmm.
helping others. Hopefully you have a servant heart that you're helping others with what your goal is, right?
Yes. Right.
And there should be nothing that stops you from that. Nothing.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Okay. The next question is we have talked a little bit about it, but where and when did you know that you are going to be in a real estate maven, as your students call you? And
Yeah.
how did it happen to you?
So so in 2004, my my landlord at the time had a stroke.
Mm,
Okay. And so we had the opportunity. I was in my early 20s. Um, we had the opportunity to buy the house that we were in. And so I talked to a friend of mine and I said, well, how does this even work? I don't know anything about real estate. I've rented my whole life with my parents, right?
mm,
Living just above broke was our lives. And so I didn't know anything about wealth or financial literacy or, people buy houses. You can own more than one house. I didn't even know that, right?
mm, right.
That's
Only
how
for
great
the
I
rich
was.
people.
Yeah, that's for rich people. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
It's for them. So I walked through it and I go, you did what? You did, you made how much? And can you teach me?
Oh.
So I was fascinated at the process.
Mhm.
So I became a mortgage broker right off the bat, learning how the loans worked, right?
Yes.
Learning how, actually, it's learning how the loans worked, and then started investing. So the investing part was actually in 2004. But I couldn't believe the world that I just entered, and nobody told me anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not my parents, no friends, no parents' friends. I had
Yeah.
no idea. My interpretation of life was just basically drifting through, right?
Right.
My experience was my parents, my dad working his butt off, never being home. My mom was a diabetic and was sick all the time and barely took care of us. So we were mostly raised by our grandma that lived with us.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, and she has, I mean, the older your family is, they have that poverty mindset that,
Right.
everyone lost everything in the 30s and they
Mm-hmm.
hoard and they keep everything. And so it's a broke mindset. It's a broke
Yeah.
mindset. And so that's what I grew up with. I'm like, oh, this is just, I guess, how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, what an eye opener to, I mean, thank goodness I was able to buy that house and learn this process because it completely changed my life around.
Right.
Completely changed. So the story I got from my landlord was she had been living off of her real estate, the cash flow, right?
Right.
And when she had the stroke, she was able to sell off some of her assets to pay for that long-term care, special care, right? So whatever insurance you have, it doesn't cover everything, right? I don't care if you have good insurance or Medicaid or government, whatever. There's always something that's missing in that insurance plan that you might need
Mm-hmm.
specialty care for.
Yes.
So, and long-term care, I mean, it's sometimes not really sexy and you don't get the best care at all. So, but if you have money, you get better care. Who's
Yes.
noticed that, right?
Right.
And so for her, she sold off a few of her houses and used that money, the equity of the real estate, to pay for her long-term care and the special speech therapist to get her voice back, to be able to speak correctly again from having a stroke. Um, I think she would have been left not being able to speak correctly anymore if she didn't have that.
It's true.
So to me, my interpretation as, and I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, my experience of it is she created her own economic independence. It's her little financial world, right? That she created to live off of and support her in her golden years, if that makes sense, right?
Yes.
Not relying on the government, not relying on some man, not relying on friends and family, not relying on anyone else but herself.
Yes.
And to me, that's independence. And that's my passion for entrepreneurs, for women entrepreneurs to be able to step up and create their own economic independence.
I love that. I love that. Be financially free and create your own economic independence, not depend on the government. Well, we live in the first world country. I live in Belgium, you live in the United States, so it's we are in the better situation than the ones in the Philippines, for example, or the ones in Africa, in Rwanda. But at the same time, it's still very important for us to learn how to be financially independent and not rely on the government, or because it's empowering as well if we know how to do that for ourselves and not rely on anybody else. It's not being boastful, but it's you feel good about yourself. And wouldn't you want to feel good about yourself? I
Confidence
sure
is
would. And it like you said, it's very sexy to be able to take care of yourself as well.
It is.
I love that. Well, I have another question. You talked about perseverance earlier, persistence. And I know that grit and persistence comes along together.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree that grit and persistence is the key to success in work and in life?
Absolutely. Oh my God, yes. So to me, it's having courage and the resolve to make your life happen, right? To having strength, to having character, um, grit. And again, I like the way you put the two together, right?
Right.
So grit is all of those things, but not if done occasionally,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that persistence is key into having those characters in line every single day of your life, every moment of your life, right? Who are you when nobody's watching, right?
Yeah.
To being that character every moment of your life.
Yes, I loved how you reminded us. Who are you when nobody is watching? We were talking earlier before we started that many people would like to jump into being an entrepreneur, but they start in little businesses and they start getting paid in here in Belgium we call it in black, so under the table, no taxes deducted. But how would you feel if you earn more and be able to pay taxes and be able to help your government, your country, and just give back? And I know because um like you said in one of your mastermind, taxes is not how did you say that taxes is our friend?
Taxes are our friend. They're created for us. And if you
Mhm.
don't follow them, you think that they are against us.
Yes. And that's why I know a lot of people are afraid to launch as entrepreneur because they're already afraid. They're calculating how much taxes will I pay. When you see only the taxes that you need to pay, you also have to see the money that you receive because every the tax is calculated on the money that you receive, isn't it? You're not taxed if you don't earn anything. So it's giving back, and it's a form of giving back. And when people are not how you are as a person, even if no one is looking, how you is very important.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we are coming to an end. It went so fast. I really love talking with you, Joanna. I learned so many things. And what? Well, before we end our program, why don't you invite them in your group? Because you are giving so much here into this group, and I know that you are even giving even more in your group. So why don't you invite them first?
Absolutely, absolutely. And before I invite you, I just want to say why you might want to be a part of the group. So I'm known as the Real Estate Wealth Maven, and I didn't make that up. My clients call me that because I geek out on the tax and legal side, and I'm a complete expert of over 20 years experience in real estate. So together, it's a wealth strategy for my clients. It's not just how to do real estate. Um, I used to train on taxes. I've read tax law and I geek out on it. So I help people to understand what to ask their CPA and what to look for and why taxes are can be a good thing.
Yes.
So, if you want to learn more about real estate investing and how you can strategize to pay next to zero in taxes ethically, legally, because
Yes.
it's the way tax law is written. Now, you guys are here to be entrepreneurs, right? So that's the
Right.
first step in the tax law is to be an entrepreneur to keep more of the money you make. The second step is to have real estate assets. It is completely laid out in the real estate law. If you have these two, this is how you pay next to zero in taxes legally. They wrote it on purpose, and this is how the rich get richer and the poor get poor because they don't want to pay taxes. Just think about that. Success leaves clues,
Yes.
right?
Wow. Right.
So
I
my
love
group
that.
is the Get Started and retire early through real estate investing. My youngest to retire through this process, this bottom line wealth process, it retired at 28 years old. And that doesn't mean he does nothing. It means that he's changed one life to another. He doesn't have to work. He gets to be a full-time investor. He has a completely new life. He has investments across the nation, and it's a retirement. He has his own retirement fund, just like I told you about my landlord.
That's
Because
amazing.
those assets are growing, right?
Right.
He could sell them all off and take millions and travel the world,
Yeah.
and do whatever he wants. So,
Mhm.
and I have realtors landing in property in, 90 days or less. We just did a 5-day challenge and people are on contract within 5 days. So, I mean, you could do anything you want to do. So there's a lot you get to learn inside of this group. Women entrepreneurs, I'm excited to help you rise and be that confident person that helps other women rise. So with that being said, it's the Get Started and Retire Early Through Real Estate Investing. We'll put it in the comments. Do you have it available?
Not yet. We'll put it in the comments below, and now we move forward to the last question of our session. What are the 3 best practices that you can give and that we could implement immediately in our daily lives so that we can be successful?
Oh my goodness. So I have a couple of things that I do. Go ahead.
Yes, I forgot to mention that you have a gift. It's actually the 11 things that Joanna does to be a successful business woman, an entrepreneur. But we're going to ask her only the 3, and so that you will have to access her gift and be able to really study what you have to you 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 have to say to us.
Cool. So the very first thing about being successful is keeping your why in front of you. Like, it's almost like if you've seen a dog race, and they have the rabbit in front and he's chasing have you ever seen those dog races,
I have
right?
seen that. Yes. I have seen that in cartoons, though, not in real
Yeah.
life.
So just picture that, and your goal is in front of you, and you're just always just like this far apart, right?
Yes, right.
So my point in saying that is, don't say I'll be happy when I get there, because it's always going to grow more to the next thing. So you're always going to have this space. So be happy now. And don't live in the gap, live in the present, and then keep reaching your goals as they grow, right? So keeping your why in front of you is important. That's number 1. Number 2 is I train on 15-minute calendars. And some of you might think it's pretty militant to say that, but that came about because one of my clients worked 12 hours a day and had hardly any time to do any real estate investing. And so she made every minute count. Like, on her break, which is about 15 minutes, she's in there texting and calling people and looking at properties. On her lunch, she did, everything that she could. When she got home, and sometimes sleep, is an option for a couple of days, but then you got to rest up, right? So she was super, super motivated. And again, life happens for you, not to you. So depending on how much of a fire you have under your rear, will motivate you. But getting stuff done, making every 15 minutes of your day count. Tracking what you do. Like, if you just took 2 days and tracked what you did, like 4 bullet points in an hour, like I did this and this in this past hour, right? Like, those are 15-minute increments, right? Is an hour.
Yes.
So what are you doing? Are you scamming through your phone? Are you sitting around doing nothing? Are you watching TV? What are you doing? And there's no right, there's no wrong. It just is.
Yes.
Okay, it just is. So I teach on 15-minute calendars. And I have this special gift, which would be number 3, is how to get more stuff done. How to get more stuff done also came about from my clients going, how did you do all this, Joanna?
Oh,
And, success is being rigorous with who you are and always having your why in front of you, right? That's success. There's no end point, right? We're always growing to another level, and you will only make and you will only do as much as your leadership allows you to. So if you're growing your leadership, you're growing your capacity to make money. You're growing your capacity to be a better person, right? And not that you're a bad person today. I'm just saying you get to grow into someone that can handle that capital, right?
That's so true. I remember Bob Proctor said, if you're not growing, you're disintegrating. So
I always say if you're not growing, you're dying, really. I mean, look at plants. If they're not growing, they're dying.
It's true.
So it's pretty black and white for me to see it that way. Everything grows when they're fed, when they're, watered. You grow when you're fed, when your brain is fed. Just because you're not growing in height anymore doesn't mean your brain stops.
It's true.
So put it to good use, because apparently I kind of geek out a little bit on the brain as well and how it works. And we only use about 10% of our brain.
Yeah.
So
and that's a pity. Huh?
It is a pity, because we are so powerful as human beings.
Yes.
And some of us tap into it and some of us don't. So I'm inviting you to tap into your greatness. And the more you do that, the more you grow your leadership, the more you're going to reach your goals.
Oh, tap into greatness so that you will be able to reach your goals.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Stretch yourself.
Yes. Just like the elastic bands.
Exactly.
Exactly. True. Oh, I have so many more questions to you, Joanna, but our time is up. And I really thank you for being with us here today. So join Jo Anna Wright's group. We will post it here in the comments below. Thank you so much for tuning in to Crystal Clear Podcast, where you are now doesn't matter, where you are going does. So remember to get crystal clear wherever you go. Thank you again, Joanna. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.